Happy Monday, March 25th, everyone. Hunter here again at Weather on the Go. And in today's forecast, we will be looking at a severe weather outbreak for strong tornadoes, damaging wind, and hail across portions of the deep south. We'll also look at the cold side of the system as a major snowstorm does prevail across the upper Midwest and the northern plains, what you can expect moving forward. And we'll look at your early April weather pattern later on in today's weather forecast. Thank you all for joining here this Monday morning and Monday afternoon whenever you're watching this video. If you do like detailed, accurate weather forecasts, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We will keep you covered right here on Weather on the Go throughout the year. And be sure to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below. It helps out more than you know. Let's look at the weather alerts across the nation this morning, and you can see on the cold side we have winter storm warnings here in the pink across portions of the upper Midwest, blizzard warnings back into the plain states from South Dakota through Nebraska into Kansas and Colorado there, even winter weather advisories extending all the way down toward the Amarillo, Texas region in the Texas Panhandle. So definitely a very dynamic system on the backside. On the warm side, we're watching for severe weather, but also a very windy day out here across the Mississippi Valley. We could be seeing a lot of those wind gusts over 40, even over 50 miles per hour with those wind advisories throughout the day. Let's look at the latest day one outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. They have highlighted an enhanced risk of severe weather across southeastern Arkansas, eastern Louisiana, and into Mississippi. That is a level 3 out of 5 on the scale, which means we could have a regional severe weather outbreak across the deep south today, and this is concerning as they have upgraded to a 10% hatched risk for tornadoes. These hatched marks mean that a long track strong tornado, EF2 or stronger, may be possible today across central Mississippi getting into eastern Louisiana, but the tornado threat extends all the way up there towards central Arkansas and northern Mississippi, even a smaller 2% shading across Iowa into northwest Missouri near the track of that surface low. And we have a threat for damaging winds up to 30% across portions of Mississippi, eastern Louisiana, and into southeastern Arkansas. So those are your biggest risks from the storms. Let's look at the setup here first and foremost. You can see across the lower Mississippi Valley, the deep south, dew points well into the 60s, if not approaching 70 degrees this afternoon. And combine that with a very strong kinematic field as well. You have the 500 millibar mid-level jet really punching in from the south and west here, over 80 knots, and you have a very formidable 850 millibar low-level jet cranking in out of the south-southeast. You have a lot of that wind shear across portions of the deep south. That's why the strong tornado threat is as it is. And you can see, here's the significant tornado parameter today. Those values hitting up around 4s, 5s, and maxing out at 7s today, okay? So we definitely have to keep an eye on eastern Louisiana and into central Mississippi throughout the afternoon and the evening. Let's time out these storms. Going through the morning, we have a squall line of showers and storms pushing across Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, down into northeast Texas. These, if they become severe, will likely only produce damaging winds and some hail. The tornado threat this morning is overwhelmingly low. As we go into the afternoon, some weakening of the squall line will be moving eastward, but I do think some re-intensification of some of the storms, especially on the southern flank of this squall line, will happen across Louisiana into Mississippi and perhaps southeastern Arkansas, and that's where the better instability is. We have to watch these semi-discrete supercells for rotation. This evening is when I think the peak of the event will be, early on this evening as they push from Louisiana across the state line into Mississippi. These storms could be very feisty, and I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of stronger tornadoes do result from this squall line. And then this storm complex will move further east into Alabama, running out of energy as they push further east after midnight into early Tuesday morning. So still a damaging wind threat perhaps into western Alabama, but I think the tornado threat should be waning after midnight, thankfully, across these areas. Then as we go into Tuesday, a smaller risk for severe weather across the Ohio Valley, the southwestern lakes region, is centered around Indiana there. Could have a marginal risk of severe weather. Also another marginal risk into southern Alabama, southwestern Georgia, and northwest Florida on Tuesday. There is a couple of areas of concern for tornadoes up here, especially centered around Indiana, up into Michigan. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Also a low-end tornado risk, 2% down here into southern Alabama and northwest Florida on Tuesday. Overall, a low-end day for severe weather. Let's look at the system as in a whole. You can see we have a very nice deformation snow band on the backside, Minnesota back through the Dakotas into Nebraska. Some of that snow is moving its way through the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma Panhandle, western Kansas going through today. That's the cold air moving in on the backside. Very heavy rains across portions of the Midwest, down into portions of the Chicagoland area, Milwaukee, down into Paducah, Kentucky, and Memphis as we go into tonight. Severe weather ongoing across the deep south and more heavy snow across the upper Midwest as we go through tonight. Tuesday, you can see the system gets very wound up, still snowing in Minneapolis, St. Paul on Tuesday morning into Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and you can see that cold frontal boundary moving across the Ohio Valley and the southeast. More severe weather potential, but a lower end day of severe weather on Tuesday, and then Tuesday night the system starts to wrap up. The snowfall moves into southeastern Canada, but the cold frontal boundary still hanging out across the eastern seaboard, watching out for more showers and storms from the northeast through the mid-Atlantic and the southeast for Tuesday night. Let's look at our snowfall. This is additional snowfall accumulations through midweek on Wednesday, March 27th. A nice narrow band of several more inches of snow from northern Minnesota through central Minnesota, back through South Dakota, especially eastern South Dakota, through central Nebraska there, and perhaps into western Kansas, eastern Colorado. We're going to keep an eye on that corridor. Several more inches of accumulating snow and heavy rainfall on the warmer side of the storm from the Illinois Valley up toward the Chicagoland area, Peoria, Illinois, back towards St. Louis, down through the Ozarks and into Arkansas. Some very heavy rain, 1 to 3 inches of rain will be possible there. And then a heavier swath of rain with our severe weather across Dixie Alley here and into the southeast through midweek. This could be causing some flash flooding concerns here, with a slight risk of flash flooding across the mid-south and the deep south as we go through Tuesday. And then Tuesday into Wednesday, that slight risk extends into southeastern Alabama, southwestern Georgia, and even northwest Florida. But even the Atlanta area in Chattanooga, Tennessee is still in that marginal risk for flash flooding Tuesday into Wednesday. Let's look at the colder air that this system will be providing us with as we go through the week. Today, here comes the cold air moving in across the Great Plains. With that cold front, we're going to see a lot of those below normal temperatures moving out across the Rockies into the western high plains today. Colder air overspreading much of the nation outside of the eastern seaboard as we go through Wednesday, March 27th, and then a quick rebound in our temperatures by the end of the work week on Friday, March 29th, as we see above normal temperatures prevailing across the heartland and the Corn Belt as we go through the late week time frame. Let's look at Easter weekend, because it's a big weekend, holiday weekend coming up. You can see on Saturday, March 30th, we do have a system moving in across the west, not that big of a deal. Could be bringing some heavier rains perhaps to Los Angeles, the Sacramento Valley, heavier snows out here to the Sierras and parts of the Rockies. But overall, nothing too terribly heavy there on Saturday. Easter Sunday, seeing a little bit more moisture return across the Rockies, so unsettled weather across the west. Some unsettled weather across the north as well, stretching across the northern high plains, the Midwest, through the Ohio Valley. Some drizzles, some showers here, but overall, not really looking at any severe weather for Easter Sunday in general. And here's your total rainfall you can expect Saturday, March 30th into Easter Sunday, March 31st to round out the month of March. You can see the heaviest precipitation and rainfall will be out west, but also across the northern high plains, getting through the Midwest and through the Ohio River Valley here, like Cincinnati, Louisville, back into Indianapolis. Could be talking about some heavier rain. That could be stretching over into West Virginia, the Charleston region through Easter weekend. All the snowfall we see this Easter weekend coming up will be out west, so mainly into the Rockies, maybe western South Dakota, but other than that, mainly sticking around the Rockies during that time frame. Looking at our temperatures for Easter weekend, pretty warm out here across the southeast as we have some warmer air moving in off the Gulf of Mexico into the southeast. And that will continue into Easter Sunday. The coldest air will be very far north into our upper Midwest where we lay down some heavy snow. That will keep us colder here. And then out west where we have more of that trough coming in and some unsettled weather keeping us colder for Easter Sunday. And looking at the first full week of April as we go from Monday, April 1st through Sunday, April 7th, another trough moving in out west below normal temperatures, especially likely from Southern California into Arizona, places like San Diego, Los Angeles, and over toward Phoenix, seeing below normal temperatures, and then above normal or even just normal temperatures across the eastern third of the country through the first week of April. Active weather to go around, though. The active pattern will remain with above normal precipitation through much of the lower 48 through the first week of April, and you can see our total precipitation in inches. The heaviest will be across the east and the southeast, and then that will trail back toward the west here, so we'll have to watch that. And any snowfall prospects in the first week in April will be out west, mainly across the Rockies, maybe up here into the upper Midwest. If we can stay cool with our recent snowpack on the ground, this could provide more fuel for some snow across these areas as we go into early April, and maybe even interior New England again. Maine, northern Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York, can't rule out some snow as we go deeper into the first week in April. We'll keep an eye on that. Well, thank you all for watching today's weather forecast. Please stay safe. Whether you're in the snowstorm side of things today or the severe weather outbreak across the Deep South, we will keep you covered 24/7 here on the weather as we go through the year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below for accurate weather forecasts. Like this video, give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate it, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Monday out there.